Hello, my friends. This is Jim. I thought I would record a video today. It's been a little while, and I'm just going to piece together some random thoughts that I have. I don't have anything monumental to pass on, but um, again, I wanted to check in, and maybe this is probably more going to today be like a journal update, kind of similar to Matt at Zero Carb Journal. He kind of just talks about what's going on in his life. That's probably what today's going to be. Um, yeah, the last, I think it was a live update. I mentioned I was going to some conferences in Boulder and Denver, uh, the Carnivore Conference and the Low Carb Denver, and I did that, and that kind of set me off track. Not off track, but it just took me a while to recover from that. I come back to work and I'm buried, and just takes me a while to get back into the groove and get my life settled again. I guess I'm kind of a creature of habit, but I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about the conferences. Um, just to say, it was really great. This is the third conferences, the third low carb conference I've been to, and obviously it was the first carnivore conference. Um, this was the best experience by far of the two others of the three that I've done. Just from all respects, just from the socialization, connecting with people, the talks, the attendance, the whole experience. It was just fantastic. You saw the thumbnail. Um, I think I'm going to make it the thumbnail. Otherwise, I'll show the picture here. I did. I was able to achieve a goal of meeting Dr. Jason Fung. He attended, and I was able to grab him for 5 minutes or so and give him a little quick rundown of my story and why I owe him so much for the obesity code. Um, that was huge for me and quite satisfying. He was gracious, and I'm sure he's heard accounts like mine thousands of times. I would imagine. So that was I felt like I really needed to look him in the eye and shake his hand and just tell him what a change that book made in my life, and I was able to do that, and it felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. So I just felt really good about that. That was one highlight, but there were many others. Um, just the interactions, the talks were all good. Was able to meet some new speakers, and I was able to meet. Now my channel has grown so much in the past year. I think, there's like 10 different over the 4 days I was out there. There was, I think I lost count. It was somewhere around 10 people came up to me. Just I had no clue who they were, and they just introduced themselves and said, "Hey Jim, I watched your videos. Um, I've watched all of them, or some of them, or I like them, or whatever. I've seen you on YouTube, or whatever." I mean that. uh, and I met some people that I know from the YouTube sphere, this community. There were also contacts made in that sense as well. But I had a blast, and I'm glad I went. Um, Again, I didn't prepare a lot specifics to go into, other than just just what I mentioned right here. That it was a great trip for me, um, and other than that, I've been thinking, I've been talking to people about uh, I talk a lot. It always ends up talking about comfort zone. I mean, I talk to people, and I find myself more and more encouraging people to, hey, if you're going to succeed in your weight loss journey, you need to step out of your comfort zone. You got to know up front that you're going to be crossing some boundaries, and it's kind of the reason I bring this up is because I certainly did that in my weight loss journey. Uh, Numerous times I realized, wow, I'm like way out there. I'm way out of my comfort zone. I'm doing things I've never done before. Specifically, like uh, when I went on a long fast, when I did a 2 week fast, that I knew I was way out there on that, and I felt like I was doing something so much different than I've ever done before. Also, some of my fasted exercising was way out of my comfort zone. And then food experimentation, etc., etc. If you're not, if you're not willing to cross the line and step out of your comfort zone, you're really not going to make it. Um, I mean, these comfort zones are just that's where we live, and that's where we've kind of we just inhabit that, and that's where our habits are formed. So you got to break out of it. What I realized, a realization, like when I was out in Denver at the conferences, and when I think about this YouTube channel, and making updates and connecting with people that I'm doing now, I never did this before. And it's really still for me stepping out of my comfort zone. I've never been kind of a public person. I've, socially kind of really limited. And I would just say private and introspective and like this, just with my own thoughts and, reflecting on things rather than interacting with people. And I see myself at this conference, and I'm still, you know, I guess I'm still probing the boundaries and stepping out of my comfort zone and in growing. So I guess what I'm trying to tie together, or the point I want to make, is, this process is not only about weight loss, improving your health. It's about mental growth, emotional growth, just growth as a person. Is a lot more to it, and in a sense, I guess what I'm saying is I'm still on a journey. I think um, I'm still realizing, benefits of my journey. I call it my weight loss journey, but it's really much more than that. Uh, so I continue to grow, and I probe the boundaries. Typically I would never have put myself out like I do on this channel and just talked about my personal life and what I think and what I eat, or interact with people, or go to conferences and all these things. This is a new kind of whole new thing for me, and I'm enjoying it. I feel I'm still growing, and I have a ways to go. I mean, um, it's not the end of the story. It's still a little bit uncomfortable for me, but I'm more comfortable now than I ever have been in the past. And so I guess I just wanted to share that aspect, that it's a big journey, and don't just look at it as like a temporary weight loss solution. It's all encompassing, really. So um, I always preach about making the small changes, and so it really is small changes that accumulate. Um, but you got to keep probing those boundaries. And even when you're successful in one area, let's say you've probed the boundaries and you've established some new habits, then it's time to look, where else can I look? Where else can I grow? And what other boundaries do I need to cross? And that will not only help you on your weight loss journey, but just completely establish more growth as a person. Anyway, that's what I'm finding. I've got a lot of things I'm considering, to do with my life in terms of where do I go next? Where do I, even in terms of employment, what am I happy doing what I'm doing now? I am basically, but maybe there's something else out there for me. Maybe I want to, I know I want to travel. And I know I'm not particularly happy being where I'm at now in terms of climate. So a relocation, I think a lot about these kinds of things, like what's the next stage of my life. So I'm considering a lot of things, and who knows where I'll end up. One of these days, something's going to give away, and I'm going to make another avenue of growth appear. But for now, it's just in the planning stages. What else do I want to say? Yeah, it's, I continue, I'm still doing great on everything. As far as my food and diet and exercise, my lifestyle, that's all real comfortable for me now. I don't do much experimentation on that anymore. Minor. It was about a year ago, I did my 6-month carnivore update, and it was like at the end of March of last year. And so we're coming up on that's a year ago, so now it's going to be my 1.5 year carniversary, so to speak. And I made a video at the 6-month time, and that video was, it just documented my whole day, and that day included, amongst other things, I ran a 5K, a race on that day. And it was my desire to run that race again this year, the same race, and it would be exactly it'd be a week from next Sunday. And I fully intend to do that, but now it's a little bit up in the air. Yesterday, I was able to go outside and run for the first time this year. It was around 50 degrees and sunny, so I said, all right, let's go for a run. So first run of the year, I did like a 6-mile run, and there's a new patch of road construction down on my normal route, and I was navigating the construction. You have to depart from the bike path and cross some uneven ground and then go on the road and then pass a little bit of construction and then go back over the curb and through some more uneven ground to get back on the path. It's like a little detour. And yeah, I wasn't really paying that close attention. And lo and behold, I don't know why I reached out and tried to grab this chain link fence that was next to me, or just touch it. And as soon as I did that, my foot hit a pipe on the ground, and I took a tumble, right on the road, right on the asphalt of the road. It's not a busy road. It's not like there are any cars around, and it wasn't a major incident at all. Again, the main thing is embarrassment, some scuffed up hands and knees, but I did kind of smack my left hip. It smacked the pavement pretty good, And you know, when you hit your hip, and I could feel it, and I knew it was kind of a deep strike where you know it's going to kind of bruise the hip, and you know the hips they seem to take a long time to heal. They have for me in the past, so I don't know. Yeah, and it's really sore today. Um, of course, this is Sunday morning, and I always do a long run on Sunday morning. So naturally, I went. This is an indoor run. I naturally intended to do that run this morning, and I went onto the treadmill and kind of walked for a good long time to see how it was, and ah, seemed to be okay. I tried to get into a light jog, and it was kind of ouchy. I mean, I couldn't run. So I didn't. I just walked. I ended up walking for like 3.5 miles, and then I tried to run again, and I was able to do a jog after being warmed up, but not anything fast. So I don't know. My 5K next week is up in the air. I'll do it if I have a quick recovery. This will be a test to see if meat really does heal, because um, if it heals up and I'm not in much pain, I'll do the run next week. But I'll be taking some days off too and doing nothing. Um, but I might have to postpone it. I can find a different race. I can give it a few weeks if I need be. If it, like I said, hip in the past, it seems like they take a long time to heal, and you need to give them some time. But I don't know. Since I've been doing a carnivore thing, um, recovery is unbelievable. I mean, any kind of injury, it just like, uh, you know, a day, two maximum, and you bounce right back. So we'll see. So, yeah, I mean, I'll report on um, that race whenever it comes off if I do it. Um, I'm was really curious to see my time, because I've been doing a couple of 5Ks per year and trying to improve on the time. Uh, but if I'm still sore, I'm not going to push it and try to improve on anything. I'll just give it some more healing time and postpone the race a few weeks. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. A year and a half carnivory. Yeah, the last year went pretty fast, and I don't know that there's be much to talk about on that. I mean, uh, it's just my lifestyle now, uh, and I don't have any plans to change. Here and there, I'm just for the heck of it, I try something like. Just the other day, I bought a little package of raspberries, just out of the blue. I just said, I'm going to have some raspberries, just to test it. Uh, just I'd like to throw my body a little curveball here and there just to see what happens. So I had, I don't know, like 30 grams of raspberries. It's going to take me, at that pace, it's going to take me several days to finish the package. But, and then, one time I had some olives, some black olives. So another little curveball. I don't know why I do these things. It's just kind of impulsive, but like I said, you don't know unless you try. It's not like I'm really. Maybe it's boredom. I don't know. I'm satisfied with the meals, but I don't know. Just once in a while, I feel like I got to do something different just to say I did it. And like I know when I'm done with this package of raspberries, I won't have any more raspberries for the rest of the year. Why I do these things, I don't know. Just sort of impulsive. Yeah. So carnivore. Other than my coffee and I still have like a piece of chocolate every day. That's the only exceptions to carnivore on my diet, and I like it that way. Everything is going well. So I guess not a whole lot much else to report. Like I said, I just wanted to get a video out there. I didn't want people to think I gone AWOL or whatever. I just wanted to report in, check in, um, see how everyone is doing, uh, and see if there's any questions out there. Hopefully, everyone is progressing on whatever journey you're on. If it's about diet, if it's about weight loss, if it's about whatever. And I'm always curious to see what people want to talk about. Uh, I did 2 of the live Q&As. I like those. I'll do some more of those in the future. I look back on them, and it seems like a lot of the questions I wasn't really answering. But if they're just generic questions about should I do this, should I do that, it's hard for me to answer, and I don't step out of the box too much on those and try to pretend I'm some expert on everything to do with nutrition. I'm not. I'm more of I guess a coach or a motivator, or just to tell my story and maybe give suggestions. So anyway, I had fun with it, and I'll do it again at some point. And I will at some point do more of a talk on the conferences. Maybe go into detail on a couple of the lectures, because several of them were good, and several of the interactions I had with people were good. I think I enjoyed, as I mentioned in the beginning, this one was really satisfying, more so in terms of the interactions that happened before the conference and during the breaks and afterwards, like just interacting with other attendees offline, and attendees and speakers. I mean, I know several of these people now. I've met them several times, and I can just go up and start talking to them. And I felt confident enough this year in Denver just to go up and introduce myself to some new people, like Gary Kerwin at Biohackers Lab. I just went up and started talking to him. And another of my favorites, Dr. Paul Mason, who comes from Australia. I just went up, struck up a conversation with him, and it was very, very interesting. So yeah, I will go into some depth, further depth on some particulars of the conference. I'm just not ready to do that today. So I think that's enough for today. I just had this update. I just wanted to check in more or less and just let everyone know I'm here. I'm doing great, other than this this gimpy hip, but it's minor, and we'll see. This will be a test of meat heals. And I wouldn't be surprised if 3 days from now, maybe on Wednesday, I suddenly don't feel anything anymore and can go full tilt, and maybe I'll be doing that race on a week from today. So we'll see. But otherwise, that's about it. I'll let it go. Just step out of your comfort zone and probe what's out there, because that's the only way to grow. That's the only way to affect change. And it's not only about just diet or weight loss. It's about your life. It's about everything, really. So that's my message. Until next time, this is Jim signing off. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.